explain why Firehouse is huge in India. I don't know. I'm not going to analyze it. I'm just happy for him.
Right. The other big one from the 80s was Still Loving You by the Scorpions. That was massive in Korea. Huge.
Oh, all over the world.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking 30 years later, 35 years later. It was in commercials. It was everywhere.
And their most famous song that I remember, because I've played all over the world. I played Russia, Bulgaria, Romania. I played all those countries. And Winds of Change is like, everybody knows Winds of Change.
Yeah.
Change.
Yeah.
That song with the whistle, starting out with the whistle. And that song just exploded in Europe. But, it was good timing. The wall was coming down in East Berlin, and they were going to tear the wall down from East Berlin, West Berlin, and they wrote Winds of Change about that. And it was, in Russia, it was like number one for a year. It's like, holy shit. But that song, everybody knows the Scorpions ballad.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't know what strikes a chord.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You just, hey, I wish I would have wrote the song.
Well, yeah, right, and at the right time, and then, your songs were very solid songs. I don't know why they wouldn't have caught on like that song did. Just timing, I guess.
Number one.
Just timing.
Yeah, Alone Again was our closest. We put out Alone Again toward the end of the tour, and the record company said, "You're done. You've been on tour for 14 months. We're coming home." And I kicked my feet up, and I screamed, and I yelled, and I said, "Why didn't you give Alone Again a shot? Band and MTV's got a frickin' ballad out from Motley Crue to Skid Row." I go, "Why don't you put a ballad out?" And they didn't want to do it. So we, the band, hired 5 camera guys to come to our last show at the Palladium and film it live. And we edited it together and put out that video, Alone Again. And here it is 30 years later. That's like one of our most famous songs.
Why wouldn't they do it, though? They didn't want you to sound like everybody else with releasing the ballad at the same time? Was that the reasoning?
I think it's all about budget.
Okay.
We did The Hunter and Into the Fire and In My Dreams. We spent almost $500,000 in videos, and they're like, "Look, it's over. The tour's over. We did the videos. We gave it our best shot. Your album's platinum. Be happy. You got a million seller." And I just kept saying, "You should have put out Alone Again." And I fought and kicked, as I always did. And, we literally, you see the video, it's all live.
Yeah.
Because we had like a $20,000 budget. And we put it out, and it caught on. And all of a sudden, radio started playing it. And all of a sudden, people were requesting it. And I believed in the song. And now, 3 weeks ago, I played a concert. And when I sing Alone Again, everybody's singing the chorus.
Yeah, it's one of those songs from the 80s that everybody knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the record company said, "Nope, you're coming home. It's over. You're done." And then, so, you fight the fight. So you just never know what's going to catch on. I can tell you 4 bands that had a song that, I'm not going to say who they are, but same fight. They believed in a song, and the record company said no. And they put it out anyway at the very end of their tour, and the song took off. So, look, you're an A&R man,
Yeah, you should know.
They're not musicians. They're not geniuses.
Right.
They don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't have a lot of respect for record company executives. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
You're not the first person to tell me that in the last little while.
They don't know shit.
Yeah, they're just suits.
They're just employees, and some had talent, like Tom Zutaut, who signed Guns N' Roses, and Hole, and Dokken, and Tesla, and, Tom had an ear. He's not a musician, but he could hear a hit when he heard one. And there's the other A&R man that don't know crap.
Most of them, I would say.
That's the way it went. Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think back to the 80s when I was going to all those concerts. I don't think you ever came my way. I don't think you ever came to Ottawa with anybody.
No. But you know about the legalities of Canada, right? There's a law in Canada, you can look it up, that the radio in Canada had to be 85% Canadian artists.
Oh yeah, the CanCon, I know about that for sure. And it's not 85%.
What? Well, it's pretty high.
I would say it's more like 30 or 40.
So you had Honeymoon Suite and Aldo Nova, and you had Triumph, and you had
Rush.
There was a million bands that came out of Canada, but they did not play all. They're like, oh, Dokken, let's play Dokken. No, our playlist is overloaded. We got to play X amount of Canadian bands.
Right.
So I was like, what the hell? So look, Loverboy had a #1 single in Canada, and we got onto the tour with Loverboy. And they're from Canada. I didn't know that. And we went to Canada and played Montreal and Ontario and Ottawa, and we played all over Canada with Loverboy and Aldo Nova because they're Canadian.
Right. But even the big bands would come up here, and you were mentioning some that you were opening for, and I don't ever remember you coming to Ottawa.
I can't tell you where I played and what I didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure we covered the whole country. We did a tour with Judas Priest in Canada. We played a tour with Dio in Canada.
See, when I saw Priest, I saw Great White, and I saw Bon Jovi open for them in Ottawa.
Yeah, we played all those cities. It's just, but most of the bands we played with were Canadian-based.
Okay.
Aldo Nova was huge.
Yeah.
Honeymoon Suite.
Yeah.
Loverboy, huge.
Yeah.
We opened for those bands because they were Canadian. Okay. And that's the way it went, because they had some weird law about you had to play X amount of Canadian music as opposed to American music. I'm like, whatever. A good song's a good song. If you want to play it, play it.
Right. Right. Yeah, we're trying to build up our music here at home, so they have that law for that reason. Because we didn't have very many bands in the 70s. That's when it started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they still have it going now. That same CanCon rule. Canadian content.
CanCon. Canadian content.
Yeah.
So we'd always try to, do a U.S. tour, and we played every place in America, every wide spot in the road, and say to my manager, can you hook us up with the Canadian bands so we can hit Canada? And we would. And we did a huge tour with Loverboy. We played a tour with Triumph. We played a tour with Aldo Nova. We played all those tours just to get us to break out in Canada.
Right.
But it didn't happen for us. We gave it our best. We tried our best. We just couldn't seem to break out like Honeymoon Suite, which was still huge in Canada.
Yeah, I talked to them last week, actually. They got a new song out. They hit the charts.
God bless them.
Yep. They're still doing it. They're awesome.
God bless them. Look, if they're still working and Honeymoon Suite's still doing it and they hit the charts, all I can say is God bless them, that they're still knocking it out. And we gave it our best shot in Canada. But we did 2 years ago, we did 2 festivals in Canada, Toronto and Quebec, and there was like 30,000 people, and we played the show, and it was great, and people knew us, and it was great.
What is the plan with all this shit going down in 2020? Is there ever a chance that a concert's going to be a concert again?
There's not much I can do. There's COVID. We had a huge tour booked this summer, 50 shows, and then 20 shows in Europe. COVID hit. It all went down in a handbasket. And we were already halfway done with our new studio album. So then I found these tapes, the lost songs, in 1978 to 1981. And I talked to my label. I said, would you be interested in putting out like songs that I wrote before George, Jeff, and Mick, like when I was really, really young, like demos. And would you be interested in that? And they said, yeah, it's kind of like a window into your beginnings, Don. So I said, okay. So I put 11 songs together. They were written before the classic lineup of Jeff, George, and Mick. I wrote these songs. I didn't even have a band. I would go in the studio and do everything myself. And found the masters. Some of the songs had drum machines, so I had BJ come in and do the drums over. And after I had my surgery and my hand got paralyzed, I couldn't play guitar anymore. So I had John come in, do a couple solos. But, 80% of that record is me. Playing guitar, solos, singing. There's 2 live songs on that record of Juan Crucier on bass before he went to Rat. He was in the band for 4 years. And we're playing in a Hamburg club. And somebody Michael Wagner actually recorded it. And they're live. And the truth is, of all the 11 songs on this new record, I think the live songs are the coolest.
They do sound great.
Those live, they sound fucking killer.
Yep.
And the fact that they're live, no overdubs, 3-piece band, the solo rhythm, it's just me playing guitar, singing, and the songs, if you listen to them, you can see the influences of me that I was listening to back then. I was listening to the new Sad Wings of Destiny and Priest and Saxon and Accept and Crocus and, and King Diamond. This is what I was listening to. I wasn't listening to the LA froth. It just didn't interest me. I was like, I don't care what LA's playing. This is what I like. This is the music that I like. And these are the bands that I like. And those were very influential on those songs on this record. And if somebody is a hardcore fan of 70s and early 80s music, and they hear the Dokken Early Day album, then they go, oh, I see it. I hear it. You'll get it. My guitar solos sound like Ritchie Blackmore. The rhythms sound like Saxon. It's just all my influences when I was 23 years old.
It's so cool. I really enjoy it. I've listened to it a couple times now. I think it's fantastic. I think more bands should do this kind of thing. Get back to the pre-fame days. Yeah, to the roots. I think it's cool.
And that's what the label thought. They said, look, it's just a window peek into your early days and before you were famous and before you did Breaking the Chains in 81, and these are like 78, 79, 80. These are just songs you were demoing before you got your shot. And we think it's cool that people can see where you were starting and going and headed and where your musical direction was and the songs you liked, and that's what this album's all about.
Yeah, and good on you for doing it. And I think it's a shot in the arm. Like we need more music being released, especially in these tough times. And this is a nice throwback to the early days. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So
I can't tell everybody, look, it's all audiophile and an amazing Def Leppard mix, and no, it's not.
But that's what makes it special.
It's raw and in your face.
Exactly.
It's got high production. There's no big giant harmonies like we did in Dokken and In My Dreams or on Lock and Key. It's just raw demos that I was doing, trying to be a musician.
Right.
And that's all this album's about.
I don't know how to thank you for this. This has been really cool. I mean, I do interviews every week with somebody, but the stories I heard today are stuff I've never had before on one of my interviews. So thank you for that. This has been very informative.
You're welcome.
I
hope that that COVID will get a vaccine. And I mean, if we get a vaccine, there's going to be a shitload of music in 2021.
Ooh, can you imagine?
Can you imagine? Every band they know is going to be back on tour.
Yep. The only problem is people aren't going to have enough money to go to all the shows they want to go to.
Yeah, that's true. But let's hope for the best, and we got to stay positive. And,
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, my whole tour was booked this summer, and so we moved the whole thing to, like, May. Because we're trying to hope that we'll be all back on tour. And, look, I know everybody in the business, and from Whitesnake to Priest to everybody, to Aerosmith, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, all their tours were canceled.
Yeah.
And we're all hoping we'll be on tour next spring.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. It's got to get back at some point. In some way.
It's been a weird year, man.
Oh,
I call it the apocalyptic year. You know, in 10 to 15 years, the young kids will look back and talk about the year 2020, the apocalypse year.
Yeah.
You know, between the social unrest, Black Lives Matter, people protesting, smashing up cities, terrorizing everybody, an election year, you know, the COVID. It's been a crazy year.
It has.
And let's hope we can get past this. I'm a little disappointed, you know, because I'm a Buddhist, and everybody knows that, and you know, I have my own beliefs, and it's so sad that it's the year 2020. You'd think by now we would all be a little bit more spiritually enlightened, you know, and compassionate, and want peace. And I don't understand. I just don't. I don't understand the violence. I don't understand you know, the thugs and the gangbangers go, oh, you know, they're having a protest. Let's go down and take some sledgehammers and rip off some Louis Vuittons. And it has nothing to do with George Floyd. You know?
No, so exactly.
It's not George Floyd. They come down and they just have their hammers in hand and sledgehammers. They just want to steal a flat screen TV, and it's upsetting. And they don't understand that they destroy people's businesses, and they do millions of dollars of damage. And everybody has a right to protest.
For sure.
But violence, destroy a city, burn it down. I mean, I'm not down with that, man.
No.
I'm not down with that.
No, I agree with you. And it's not that they don't understand that they're wrecking a business. They just don't care.
They don't give a shit.
No.
They're like, hey, man, there's going to be a protest in Kenosha. Let's get our sledgehammers and crowbars and go down and raid the downtown center and smash in. I have to laugh. The first place they always hit is the liquor stores.
Not up here, it's the guitar shops.
Yeah, man, get the guitars, you know.
Yep.
But I've had it with all this, and I don't even want to watch the news anymore.
I can't. No.
They're not spiritually enlightened. They don't have a moral compass. They don't have any moral compass.
Nope.
And I don't get it. These are not just young kids. These are people that, but you know, when you're raised with that mentality of get what you can get and take what you can get and pass it on to your children, you know, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's never going to change.
No, it's all about being up, you know, raised with that mentality. And we'll see what happens, you know. I'm just up here in New Mexico hiding out on my 13-acre property in a house up in the mountains away from everybody and our 4 dogs, and, you know, just waiting to see what happens. But it sounds corny and woohoo, but if there was no music in the world, it would be a very horrible place to live in.
I agree.
We have to have music. Music is what saves us. Music is what gives us sadness from a ballad or a rock song from Iron Maiden that gets our adrenaline going. And, you know, music keeps us going. And that's what it's all about. And if we had no music, this world would be a really crazy place. So I want everybody, me and my peers, I hope we all get to go on tour next year and give everybody that rush that rush to stay in the audience with your fist in the air. I don't care if it's Dokken or Queensryche or Accept or Iron Maiden. I just want to see those fists in the air and having a good time. And I'm hoping that happens next summer.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It's got to happen. It's the kind of stuff that that stops all these problems. Those kind of shows.
All right, I'll let you go.
Yeah, congratulations again on a very cool album. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. And best of luck on getting through COVID and recovering from the surgery. I hope everything goes well. Thoughts are with you for that. And hopefully you're back on the road with a new album soon.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks so much for this. I've had a great time listening to these stories.
Thanks, buddy. Take care of yourself.
All right, you too.